Time now for the Avera Orthopedics postgame show on Midco Sports Network.
It has gone final here in Grand Forks, 85-81. North Dakota able to complete the sweep over the top-ranked South Dakota Coyotes in the Summit League. Alex Heinert, Zach Dosch here with you, wrapping things up. We are proud to be joined courtside by UND head coach Paul Sather. Congratulations on your first sweep of the season, Paul. It wasn't easy down the stretch, but a great performance from your guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, just loved our approach this weekend. The guys just came out with a different mindset. Like we didn't let the ups and downs and the adversity affect us as much this weekend. And we've been battling that all year, where I think we have really good stretches, but we don't put 40 minutes together because you're going to make mistakes, you're going to screw up. The teams are going to go on runs. You're not going to get every call. And so you got to learn how to deal with that. And we really dealt with it. Our leadership on the court dealt with it a lot better, and that was important for us.
Coach, talk a little bit about how your team is making progress and building towards that conference tournament.
Well, it's I felt like the last, going into this weekend, the last 7 games, offensively, we really were doing some nice things. I just feel like defensively we kind of lost a little bit of an edge from guarding threes to letting teams just play too free and too easy. And we, again, we've been challenging our guys, but I just think they really responded. It's a process to this. You can't always force it to the speed you want it to. A lot of new guys out here with roles and different guys that have a lot different roles. And it's good to be playing your best basketball at this time. But we gotta continue. Like they're fighting for that, and you got to continue to fight for that. Like this is never easy. It just doesn't matter who you play. Doesn't matter what gym you're in. It's never going to be easy. And it just shows you tonight with a 23-point lead, and AJ Plitzwhite just says, "I'm not going to go down that easy." Yeah. And so he makes you fight to the bitter end, and it just says a lot about that young man and that USD team in general. Because they got a lot of the same things that we have, a lot of new faces, new roles, and they've just done a tremendous job. And so, grateful we got these two against a very, very good team, a well-coached team, and some tough guys. So, really good win for our program.
Coach, being at senior night, maybe talk a little bit about what Bentu has meant to this team and his emergence, and what that does to the ceiling of this team. Really,
well, I think it's been everything. I just think it's such a good example for all of us of when life isn't just easy and going your way. We live, and I say we, I mean all of us, me included, and everybody lives in a world right now when it's not going your way or things are really hard. You look for a different route and a different path, and he means a lot to what we're doing. And he's a great young guy, man, and he's fun to coach. The energy he brings, and when it wasn't going his way, he was still an incredible teammate. So good. It's what you want, and I just think guys respond to that. We get a lot of credit as coaches sometimes when things are going good, and honestly, these players, this group deserves it. They've been working hard. They've been staying together. We've gone through a lot, and it's fun to see them playing better and getting better and fighting like this at the end of the season.
And you can tell what Bentu Panoam and this team mean to you, Coach. Awesome to see that group rise up and have a great weekend. 2 more games to go. Congratulations on the sweep. Best of luck next week down in Omaha.
Thanks, guys.
Big thanks to Paul Sather. Awesome job this weekend again by this UND coaching staff to find a way to grind one out against the best team in the conference. And now it changes the ceiling really for this team when you see what they've done against some of the best teams in the league. He talks about playing your best basketball come March. This team is doing so right now.
Yeah, so much is made about seeding, but really it's about how are you playing right now. The games in January no longer matter. It matters how you're playing right now going into the tournament. Doesn't matter what your seed is. And right now, UND, they're playing just about as well as anybody.
Yeah, this was a North Dakota team that had an edge going into the second half, a 12-point lead over South Dakota. They extended that, as Paul mentioned, all the way up to 23 as we look at the second half highlights. Brought to you by Avera Orthopedics. Stanley Amude, a little bit on the periphery today. Not what we're used to seeing.
He was just sort of out of sorts, never really got into the flow of the game. And again, a lot of that credit goes to this UND defense. They were able to limit him this entire game.
He still finishes with 15 points. a mere 19 fewer than his teammate. AJ Plitzowite going off for 34, his third 30-point game of the season. Not enough in the end, though.
When he is locked in, when he is in attack mode, he is fun to watch. He's a special player.
Another good night for Filip Bracha. Again, quiet for stretches, only 5 points in the first half because of foul trouble. He was big, though, in the second with 17 points total.
Pretty good game out of Filip Bracha, but more importantly for UND, how to win when he's not at his best. Today was a little bit of foul trouble that kind of got him out of the flow of this game, and UND just found a way. They're just kind of growing and expanding how they like to play.
What a weekend for Penn Supanoam. Final games in the Betty for the senior from Anchorage. 22 points tonight. 6 of 8 shooting, by the way. So efficient. Right decisions every time down the floor.
Every time down, he makes the right decision, and it goes beyond the box score. When you talk about Ben, too, he's the heart and soul of this team right now.
85-81 your final. South Dakota was shooting in the 30s at one point in this game. A hot stretch there gets them up near 50% in the end, though. 11 threes for UND today. A performance that they are going to take and learn from. Of course, they would love to find a way to not make this so close down the end when you've got a 20-point advantage. But in the end, hey, it counts in the win column. It gets them closer to a high seed, not just the middle of the pack seed here in the Summer League tournament. Big confidence-boosting weekend for Paul Sather's club.
Well, it's interesting. Earlier in the year, UND was playing a lot of games in the 60s. Now you're starting to see them play a little bit more in the 80s, and this is the way that they're going to have to win games because, as you're seeing there, out-rebounded by 11 again. I believe it was about 10 last night. That's just something that they're not going to be able to fix, but they can fix their offense, and they have another fantastic night shooting from beyond the arc, and that's because they're taking the right shots with the right players on the right spots on the floor after the right offensive action into those shots. So again, very important for them to stay very efficient on offense, and they can clearly do that. It wasn't a fluke because now it's happened a couple nights in a row.
We saw this team score 45 points in this building against North Dakota State in the middle of January. What a difference on the offensive end a month can make. Here's what it means in terms of the Summit League standings. USD now all level with North Dakota State, they will play the final weekend of the season down in Vermillion. Oral Roberts right there, of course, they're in action right now against South Dakota State. UND back to 500, level with Kansas City, who they split with, because they split with everybody with the exception now of the South Dakota schools. Still everything to play for here with 2 weeks total left in the regular season and 2 games to go if you're North Dakota.
Well, it's interesting. UND in the 4-5 spot with South Dakota State right now, the only team that swept them this year. So whether they're the 4th or 5th or 6th, it doesn't really matter for UND right now. If they're playing as well as they did this weekend, I think they feel confident about playing against anybody. Big
win for the Fighting Hawks. For South Dakota, a chance next week to regroup back at home finally against Oral Roberts before closing out the season with North Dakota State. Zach, for us, our last broadcast of the season here in Grand Forks. Awesome working with you again and again. We can't say it enough. Congratulations to our crew on accomplishing something special here this weekend with 6 games in 3 days. And congrats to UND Athletics in general, all of the support staff pulling this off in a pandemic. Well done. Really proud. Be proud of what you guys did here this weekend. North Dakota, your winner here tonight, 85-81 your final. They improved to 7-7 in conference play. Paul Sather and company keeping that upward trajectory going. Zach, I think we're in for a fun Summer League tournament, aren't you?
Absolutely. If you haven't figured out, please let me know, because I certainly don't.
It'll be on Midco Ascend here in a couple of weeks from Sioux Falls. Stay tuned for it. Thanks again on behalf of all of our Midco SN team, Zach Dosch, Jeremy Klein, our producer, Mike Dermott, our director, Toby McDonald, our tech director, and the hundreds of people that have made this possible. I'm Alex Heinert. Thank you for watching.